This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. What could be double trouble and a double bad day for George Bush? From the first, Bush has been ducking and dodging about exactly what his involvement was in the deal that sent missiles to the Ayatollah. Opponents insist Bush has told at least 4 different stories about it. More recently, he has just refused to answer questions, including avoiding major interviews. Today, it came back to haunt him again. The Washington Post reported new indications that Bush may have been much more involved than he's been letting on. And then there are the polls. The latest CBS News New York Times poll out tonight has Bush trailing Senator Bob Dole in Iowa. It also shows Gary Hart with a big lead among Democrats there. Eric Ingberg has the latest Campaign 88 twists on who's hot and who's not.
Iowans, in the midst of the biggest chill in years, are helping Gary Hart reheat his presidential campaign. According to a recent CBS News New York Times poll, Hart is now the front runner in Iowa with 25%. Paul Simon, whose home state Illinois is right next door, finishes second with 18%. The rest of the Democrats are closely bunched further back. The poll was conducted between last Saturday and Tuesday. Hart holds his lead despite the fact that many Democrats here harbor strong negative feelings about him.
I don't know how to talk about polls. Polls are boring.
I think it's name identification. I think it's the fact that he has campaigned here over the years, is well known.
On the Republican side, Robert Dole from next door Kansas holds a 12-point lead over George Bush. No one else is close. And if the poll results weren't bad enough news for Bush in Iowa, the newspapers here today were ensuring the vice president's role in the Iran-Contra affair will be an issue in the campaign. Front pages trumpeted the Washington Post story that Bush knew much more than he is admitting.
I solidly supported the president's plan, and it was not, at the time it was conceived, considered to be arms for hostages.
Now it appears he had more knowledge, and I think he's going to have to clear it up. It's not going to go away. It's kind of a story that's going to be pursued.
On the Democratic side, the new poll shows that Hart is not recruiting many brand new supporters, but he is coaxing back many voters who used to back him before the Donna Rice scandal.
He's had a scuffle with the Eastern press and with the powers to be and the authorities, and has decided to run this campaign in kind of a modern-day populist. And the people here love that kind of thing.
But Hart generates strong misgivings as well. 40% of the Democrats polled in Iowa view him unfavorably. Less than a third are favorable. And when asked to rate his ability to handle an international crisis, almost half of those polled said Hart makes them uneasy. 1/4 of the Iowa Democrats say that they would like to see other candidates enter the field. And 1/2 of that group of Iowans discontented with the current crop says the Prince Charming they're waiting for is Mario Cuomo. Eric Engberg, CBS News, Des Moines.
Just one day before a White House task force is to present its recommendations on how Wall Street should be better regulated, the stock market today showed a modest gain. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 14 points as nervous investors saw the recently robust dollar sink slightly again against key foreign currencies. The task force was appointed by President Reagan in the wake of Black Monday. Today, there were conflicting reports leaked about whether the commission's study will recommend major overhauls on the stock exchange or only minor corrections. Business correspondent Ray Brady has checked around on this.
It's the report Wall Street's been waiting for. It centers on that fateful day when the stock market crash cost investors $500 billion. And already, some Wall Streeters are reacting to the changes the report is expected to recommend.
Well, these guys probably make $25,000, $30,000 a year. They're going to tell guys in there who make millions and millions of dollars on how to trade. And it's not going to happen.
In the long run, we're better served just by letting the system take care of itself.
Appointed shortly after the crash, the president's task force reportedly urges the creation of one super agency to regulate all financial exchanges, daily limits on how much a stock can swing in price, and tighter limits on credit. Today on Wall Street, you must put 50% down to buy stocks. On LaSalle Street in Chicago, you can buy stock options with as little as 5% down, a difference that helps send prices on both exchanges gyrating wildly.
In the real world, You have to have regulation of financial institutions for them to function properly. This was proved in 1929 and in the 30s. I think it's being proved again today.
But who caused the crash? The reports expected to blame a handful of giant investors, selling stocks both here and abroad and causing worldwide losses. Sources say the report agrees with President Reagan that the major cause of the plunge was not the deficit, but Wall Street.
Even a farmhand cleaning out the stalls in a barn knows that what he's cleaning out didn't come from outside. It was produced in the barn.
Exchanges and their regulators reached by CBS News wouldn't comment on the report until it's released tomorrow. But the financial community may have still other problems ahead. New subpoenas may soon be issued on Wall Street's other big headache, the insider trading scandals. Dan?
Thank you, Ray. The Senate Banking Committee today announced it will conduct its own hearings on the stock market crash beginning February 2nd. And Secretary of State Schultz said today he's looking forward to more major agreements with the Soviet Union in the final year of the Reagan foreign policy era. Bill Plant reports on that.
Secretary of State George Shultz, appearing optimistic about the direction of U.S.-Soviet relations, announced a new round of shuttle diplomacy with the Kremlin foreign minister, which will start in mid-February.
Beginning then, we'll have more or less monthly meetings alternating between the two capitals as we seek to do all of the things that we can to make the Moscow summit meeting a outstanding success.
The formal negotiations toward the arms deal both sides hope to sign at that summit don't even resume until next week in Geneva. But there's already a sense that a strategic arms agreement will move ahead quickly, despite U.S.-Soviet differences over Star Wars.
I can say that there seemed to be many irreconcilable differences as we went through the INF process, and gradually we managed to work them out.
As for Afghanistan, Schultz expressed hope that Foreign Minister Shevardnadze was sincere in saying that Moscow wants its troops out by the end of this year. But he continued to press for a firm withdrawal schedule, suggesting that under the right conditions, the U.S. would cut off military aid to the rebels before all Soviet troops were out.
As withdrawal proceeds and as it takes place, we hope in a peaceful atmosphere, then you don't have the need for that continued support and it would cease.
On these and other issues, there's a feeling here that this is a good time to be dealing with the Soviets. Some in the administration even dare to hope that a strategic arms agreement is possible by the time President Reagan goes to Moscow. Others aren't so sure, but no one wants to dampen the optimism. Bill Plant, CBS News, the White House.
President Reagan's new Defense Secretary, Frank Carlucci, has reportedly ordered a one-year delay in deploying the top-secret Northrop stealth bomber. Technical problems are blamed. That plane is supposed to be invisible to enemy radar and is supposed to be ready for deployment in the early 1990s. Cost of developing and producing the aircraft, already estimated at some $300 million a copy, is now expected to go up. Israel stuck to its hard military line in the occupied Arab territories today. Israeli soldiers shot and killed another Palestinian in the Gaza Strip. That's the 26th to die in a month of violent protest. Rob Simon is on the scene.
The Israelis brought new gas-generating devices to Gaza today. They blanketed a refugee camp with a powder-gray cloud. They turned day into dusk. It was after night fell that the shots were fired. Tear gas was the canister of choice on the West Bank today. Street veterans said it was a new and stronger gas than the Israelis have used in the past. Senator John Chafee dropped by the Kolandia refugee camp, but had a little trouble getting in. Israeli soldiers laid down some covering fire, but that didn't help, so the senator retreated. But tried again. This time the party was stoned, and John Chafee decided to call it a day.
Thank you for trying, sir.
Thank you. The Rhode Islanders left. The Israeli soldiers did not. The duel continued. The young Palestinians surprised the Israelis, surprised the world, surprised themselves by doing what they did, and by keeping it up so long. So, what's the payoff? And who do they trust? Traditional Palestinian leaders, including many in the PLO, are being dismissed these days as Cadillac revolutionaries.
They basically have given up on the outside world making a change, forcing the Israelis to make a change. So they feel that they have to do this themselves.
But the older generation is trying to chime in. Shops were shut tight in sympathy all over the territories today, and middle-class leaders were opening their campaign of passive resistance.
We will start by boycotting Israeli products. We will escalate it if they don't listen to us, to not paying our taxes.
But what about the students, the intellectuals, the faces in the crowd? What do they see next? Terror? Bombings? Stabbings?
Why not? All revolutions in the whole world established such a thing and did such a thing.
5 years ago, the Israelis tried to solve the Palestinian problem by conquering Beirut. That didn't work. Now, Beirut may be coming to Israel. Bob Simon, CBS News, on the West Bank.
Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, Bruce Hall on how the cold has stabbed into the South. Frank Courier from a town where 10 below is considered a warming trend. And Bob Schieffer on the Internal Revenue Service's attempt to have a close early accounting of your taxes.
All because you're leaving your taxes for the last minute.
This morning, my boss comes storming into my office and yells, "Why did you switch from AT&T to MCI?" So I tell him how much money MCI is saving as compared to Watts, and how with MCI we're saving up to 25% on credit card calls. Then he screams, "But AT&T's better quality. Our calls have been sounding great. When did you do this anyway?" I say, 7 months ago, sir.
Until you call, you'll never know how much better a long-distance company can be. MCI. Let us show you.
When it's cold and rough outside, try something warm and creamy inside. Cream of wheat hot cereal and instant Mix-and-Eat. Their smooth texture always lets the flavor come through. 2 great ways to come in from the cold.
This is Brother Rice. He hasn't spoken a word in exactly 20 years. So I brought him this new FTD Celebrate bouquet. The flowers, colorful bowl, and fun box make it a celebration worth shouting about, right? Send the new FTD Celebrate bouquet.
If every time you look around it seems like your rug is dirty, try Woolite Spot and Stain Rug Cleaner. Because it contains the ingredient Fiber Pel, it keeps your heavy traffic areas cleaner longer than the other liquid spray. Trust new Woolite Spot and Stain Rug Cleaner.
At least 11 cities from Michigan to Maryland today had their coldest temperatures ever for this date. Travel snarled and stalled. The mess that the nation's airline service has become was especially chaotic, and schools closed. While the big freeze of '88 maintained its grip on the Midwest and Northeast, it was the South that got socked with heavy new snow. Bruce Hall reports what happened when the Siberian Express slammed into Dixie.
The powerful Arctic winter storm swept across the South today, bringing icy roads, freezing rain, sleet, and up to a foot of snow in parts of the Sun Belt.
Well, it's dangerous, all these cars and everything. It's a mess out here.
As the storm moved across the country, sub-zero temperatures continued in parts of the Midwest and Northeast, while a band of snow fell from Oklahoma to the Carolinas. In the deep South, it was sleet and ice.
I'm cold. My toes are freezing, my nose is running, but I'm going to hang in there.
The weather is being blamed for a number of deaths. 20 people were staying in this house in Memphis when fire broke out. 3 of the children could not get out and died. Firemen were able to save this homeless man when they dug him out of a snowdrift. Even a small storm can paralyze the South, where few know how to drive on icy streets.
Figure if I could burn me up a little bit of heat, some traction to melt the snow, I ought to be able to pick up some speed.
At least get started.
Otherwise, we're going back to the homestead and open up a bottle of liquor and the hell with it.
Many southern schools, businesses, and government offices closed even before the first snowflake hit the ground, giving many an unexpected vacation. Air traffic was backed up around the country. In Atlanta, the nation's busiest airport, it was not snow on the runways, but a shortage of de-icing equipment that kept hundreds of planes and thousands of travelers stranded.
I have a meeting in Bally, Pennsylvania tomorrow morning. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I'm going to try.
Others found an older means of transportation, seldom seen on southern streets. But that's what's welcome about a snowstorm in the Sun Belt. when a winter wonderland becomes a playground for all, if only for a few hours or days. Bruce Hall, CBS News, Atlanta.
Now let's talk real cold. We take you to a place right here in the United States where sub-zero can mean a warming trend. You've heard its name hundreds of times on weather reports through the years. Now Frank Courier shows you what life is like there.
They were drilling deep at dawn today on a frozen Minnesota lake when ice fishermen declared an end to the cold wave.
Like yesterday it was 30 below. Today it's about 15, 16 below. Kind of feels like summer out here. I mean, it isn't bad.
They take it in stride here in International Falls, Minnesota, the coldest town in America, 300 miles north of Minneapolis on the Canadian border.
It takes a damn fool to get out in weather like this.
If that's so, more than 5,000 damn fools choose to live in a place where temperatures average 0 during January.
We did have a call from a lady down in Texas that had never seen snow in her life, and she actually thought that a lot of people still lived in igloos up here.
Instead of cursing the cold, natives celebrate. During icebox days, they go broomballing, smoosh racing, or snowmobiling. The marathoners wind up as frosted as they are exhausted.
Some have called this town Frostbite Falls, but the fury of winter here means much more than just chapped lips, earmuffs, and antifreeze.
International Falls, Minnesota. A car sits on a frozen lake.
The town has parlayed its icebox image into a $300,000 a year industry for cold weather testing of engines, tires, and batteries.
In April, it started.
We feel that if we are going to be cold, well, we might as well make it work for us.
For the hardy souls in this land of the deep freeze, being cold is but a state of mind.
40 below weather here is usually real dry and cold and calm, and you can hear the house snap, and the buildings will snap, and the trees will snap. It's not as cold as people think it is.
Perhaps so, but where else in America is every parked car plugged to an electric heater? Like no other place, a sub-zero winter here is as sure as a hometown slapshot goal. Frank Courier, CBS News, International Falls, Minnesota.
Okay, honey.
Can you tell who hasn't had their Kellogg's bran flakes?
Hang in there, honey.
Well, some people feel a little sluggish if they're not eating a balanced diet.
Oh boy, am I sluggish.
Kellogg's are the only bran flakes with fiber and a full day supply of iron to help balance your diet. And that's one great way to help fight that sluggish feeling. So maybe you can tell who hasn't had their Kellogg's bran flakes
Great shot, honey.
and who has. Kellogg's bran flakes, the fiber and iron cereal.
You're on the road to the top. There's no time to stop. You're gonna make your dreams come true. Here's your address for success, Park Avenue. It's your room with the view. It's your road to command. Every street feels like Park Avenue. The great American road belongs to Buick.
If you're choosing a pain reliever for a headache and want strength, choose this one. Nothing is stronger for headaches. Nothing. If you're concerned about stomach irritation, choose this. It won't irritate your stomach like aspirin or even ibuprofen can. The truth is, if you want a pain reliever that does both, your one choice should be Tylenol. Tylenol. It's tough on pain, easy on your stomach.
A study published today found that 9 of 10 AIDS tests performed in one major hospital were inappropriately administered, wrongly interpreted, or done without permission and counseling. Researchers said that may be typical of many medical centers. The report in the Journal of the American Medical Association covered testing at the St. Paul Ramsey Medical Center in Minnesota in 1985 and 86. A spokesman said guidelines have since been tightened at that hospital. But it is even harder to administer guidelines for AIDS testing outside a hospital, and CBS News medical correspondent Susan Spencer has been looking into what that may mean these days.
The private Stop AIDS Foundation in San Francisco offers AIDS tests faster than you can get your dry cleaning.
Well, if you come in before 2 o'clock, we'll give you an answer at 6:30.
I mean, you can't get faster than that. That's the fastest service in the country.
Not bad when compared to the weeks it often takes at public sites. Not surprising then that some 200 private centers have sprung up around the country. An AIDS-free certificate, an added attraction at some.
I'm quickly telling the vast 95% or more that they're negative quickly.
But critics worry about the other 5%. The charges: many private centers do not provide adequate counseling, give people results by mail, do slipshod work, and sometimes fail to do the necessary second test to be absolutely sure that someone is positive. One company even offers testing by mail.
And they're essentially saying, okay, fine, we'll take your test, we'll take your money, we won't give you the tools you need to interpret the test and to cope with your results. That is potentially devastating.
Especially if the results are wrong. Gerard Brogan, a healthcare worker from England, got a test at this San Francisco center. He will never forget his thoughts when he was told over the phone that it was positive.
How long have I got? You know, I've got AIDS. Does my wife have AIDS? Does my child have AIDS?
But though Brogan's first test was positive, a second didn't confirm it. A fact he learned only when he took his wife in and accidentally saw his own chart over the technician's shoulder.
He was, oh my God, you're not positive, you're negative.
Many AIDS experts worry that there will be thousands of Gerard Brogans as more and more people are tested. Not only because clinics can be sloppy, but also because independent labs have been shown to have alarming error rates. A recent government study found that in a high-risk population, gays and drug users, the labs will miss 1 in 10 people who are infected. But in the general population, 9 of 10 people identified as infected will not be.
The impact can be as severe as causing people to commit suicide because they see a positive test as equal to AIDS, as equal to death.
To ensure that lab mistakes are at a minimum and that clinics provide adequate counseling, many experts want federal regulations for private testing centers. For now, though, there are no restrictions, and the testing business seems to be on a roll.
If you have any doubts, the simplest way is to just get an AIDS test and...
Susan Spencer, CBS News, San Francisco.
British actor Trevor Howard died today at a hospital near London. Trevor Howard was 71. He began acting on stage, then fought as a paratrooper in World War II, before then beginning a long career as a film actor. He had several classic roles in the movies, including the tyrannical Captain Bligh, opposite Marlon Brando in Mutiny on the Bounty.
The King's Navy will not rest until every mutineer is captured and executed. Wherever you go, wherever you hide, 1,000 ships will search you out.
It took 2,000 years, but a revolutionary discovery is changing the way men think about coloring their gray hair. It's called Just for Men, from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, shampoo out. Your gray is blended away, leaving your natural-looking color. 5 minutes. Here, look at me. Just for Men leaves your hair looking healthy and fuller, and it won't fade or wash out. Just for Men, in the men's hair care section.
It's a big game, big boy. But you got the stuff, cause you got off the ground this morning with a real winner. Wheaties, Wheaties, your whole wheat. Now go tell your mama what the big boys eat.
Folks, it's official. The Big Mouth is now the Fresh Mouth. Thanks to new Super Strength Polident. It has a minty mouthwash ingredient that freshens up dentures as it cleans tough stains. Try new Polident Green for a mouth freshening clean.
You can see the dream of success in the eyes of people all across America. At Citicorp, we understand the dream. That's why, as Citicorp and Citibank, we've become America's largest financial services organization, already helping 1 in every 5 American families, with more home mortgages, more student loans, more MasterCard and Visa cards than any other company. We'd like you to get to know us better. Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
Amid all the latest budget cut talk, President Reagan's people tonight are leaking and talking up the election year idea that Mr. Reagan's new budget will include a record high $21 billion for the Education Department, plus tax breaks for parents who save for college tuition. The sources say that high-income families would be excluded from this. Those merry pranksters at the Internal Revenue Service have a splashy new television ad campaign out. It does nothing to explain all the rules changes now in effect because of bureaucratic bungling and the massive overhaul of the tax system. Our chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer reports the IRS message is simple: file soon or else.
What you are about to see may be the scariest stuff on television, but that's the point, and it comes from that gang that's been scaring the daylights out of all of us for years, the income tax people. So, get ready to get scared.
You'll try to sleep, but it will come creeping into your mind and grow into a private horror of your own making. All because you're leaving your taxes for the last minute. Don't let it haunt you. File now. File accurately. And make
With a new tax law on the books, the IRS is trying to cut down on this. Last-minute filing, which causes an obvious logjam for the agency and a lot of anxiety for the rest of us. Finding excuses to put off filling out your income tax forms may be as American as cherry pie, but it can make you feel just awful. How does it make you feel, buddy?
Oh, hell. Frustrated, worried, feeling that I've done something bad, that I'm evil.
Even so, no one enjoys it.
I can't stand it. It's such a repulsive task for me every time. I put it off as long as I can.
I fill out a form with my husband, and we're up to the midnight hour at the very last minute for our taxes.
Usually wait till the last minute? I certainly do.
It's there waiting for you. Yes, you've created an unreal entity of awesome power. All because you're putting off doing your taxes till the last minute.
If you don't pay, of course, the top tax man reminds it's the same deal as always.
If you're not going to try to comply, if you intentionally fail to comply with your tax obligation, then you're looking at jail term.
And no excuses if you don't understand plain English. So the IRS advises get with the program. And get with it right now. Bob Schieffer, CBS News, Washington.
And that's tonight's CBS Evening News. Dan Rather. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Remember when a drive-in was $1, a hot dog was a dime, and cars were under $10,000?
Stop that, Jimmy!
Now the movie's $6. A hot dog's $1.75. And cars, well, Subaru still has an entire line of cars for under $10,000.
Stop that, Jimmy!
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Most fruit and fiber. Tastes so good you forget the fiber.
All these delicious dates, raisins, walnuts. This is fruit and fire.
Most fruit and fiber. Tastes so good you forget the fiber.
Dates, raisins, walnuts. It's fruitin'. And yes!
Most fruit and fiber cereal packed with chewy dates, fat raisins, crisp walnuts, and high fiber flakes. Fruit and fiber. Tastes so good you forget the fiber.
Bad colds hit hard. For throbbing, aching, feverish colds like this, you need strong medicine. Introducing Dimetap Plus, the proven cold relief of Dimetap Plus, a non-aspirin pain reliever. So next time a really painful cold hits, hit back. With new Dimetap Plus, you'll be back in the fast lane in no time. Dimetap Plus, good advice for the worst colds.